Hi, everybody. Please join me this evening during the presidential debates. I'll be with Alex Michelson from Fox 11 News and an entire team. We're going to be analyzing and commentating during the debates. Also, they're going to be playing it during the 10 o'clock news on Channel 11, and they're going to be replaying some of our clips during The Issue Is, which airs on Fox 11 Fridays at 10:30. Join us.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Fox 11 Los Angeles Facebook page. I'm Alex Michelson. This is a special edition of The Issue Is, our debate focus group. And look who's here. Welcome, everybody. I want to introduce you to who's here. Alicia Rivers is here. She's an author. Congratulations on your new book. Dean Chermet is here, a chef and an entrepreneur. Katie Calvoda is here for the first time, who is an entrepreneur as well. Deborah Zaracola, welcome. She's a podcaster, journalist. Jeannie Harrison is back. She works in the real estate management industry. Tyree Brown is here, a political community liaison as well. Good to have you all here. All right, so we had a debate tonight. Started off kind of slow, and then sort of picked up in terms of the energy later on throughout the night. So let's start with the question that everybody wants to know. Who do you think won the debate? One word.
I'm going to go with Cory Booker.
Pete Buttigieg.
Cory Booker.
Booker.
Warren Booker Buttigieg.
Buttigieg.
Okay, so sort of a split decision tonight on who won. You said Cory Booker. Why is that?
I really appreciated his answers in regards to housing. More specifically, that's what stood out for me, especially for him to say if you're making or if you're paying more than a third for your rent, when it comes to your income, then that should be given back to you. But as well, Warren did give a great answer in response to that as well. But there was really no clear winner, but so I'll go with what she stated there as well, saying Warren, Booker, Buttigieg. Those were the three that stood out.
Yeah, Jeannie, why did you say that?
Well, because I just thought all three were just on tonight. They didn't do any kind of soundbite. They just seemed to really have substance, and they hit their marks, and I just thought they were really excellent, and I liked what they said, and I agree with it. If we could put all three of them together for one candidate, that would just be ideal.
Dean, you said Mayor Pete. Why is that?
Mayor Pete, he was, to your point, he was very substantive. No one seemed very canned. He was ready for every question, especially when Tulsi tried to come for him at the end. That whole thing just blew up right in her face. And no one really came for him. I think everyone was expecting everyone was expecting that more people were going to come after him, and they didn't until the end. But he was just ready for everything.
Deborah, did you say Booker?
Booker.
Yeah.
You know, because when Warren was talking about the 2-cent tax, Booker finally said, well, what are we going to do? Let's stop talking about all the money we're going to raise and how we're going to raise taxes. Let's talk about what we're going to do. And I like how he took control of that.
Okay, neither of you said Kamala Harris, who actually got a lot of speaking time tonight, was on the attack a lot, especially on the attack when it came to Tulsi Gabbard, probably the biggest fight of the night. The two had fought before. They fought again tonight. Here's a look at that.
That our Democratic Party, unfortunately, is not the party that is of, by, and for the people.
It's unfortunate that we have someone on the stage who is attempting to be the Democratic nominee for President of the United States, who during the Obama administration spent 4 years full-time on Fox News criticizing President Obama.
What Senator Harris is doing is unfortunately continuing to traffic in lies and smears and innuendos because she cannot challenge the substance of the argument that I'm making.
Ouch.
Ouch, that's right.
And anybody moved by that?
Wasting my time. I really need to hear more about the issues. I don't want to hear about these two arguing anymore. Done.
Yeah. Other thoughts? So what'd you think about Senator Harris's performance tonight?
I thought she was really fired up. I think this is one of her most fired up performances, but also I didn't like the split screen of the two women fighting. I just didn't like that. As a woman myself, that turned me off. I don't want to see that anymore. And I want to see them talking about substantive issues and delving into those things and not this sort of this catfight moment.
Tyree.
It was a waste of time. Like everyone else pretty much said, there was no need for the back and forth tonight. It seemed like the moderators allowed a lot of that back and forth, where it was Kamala and Tulsi or Pete and Tulsi. Yeah, Biden and Tulsi. It was just seemed like it was a constant fight with Tulsi, as if this is what we came to see. I appreciate we got away from healthcare and got into more substantive issues, but the back and forth that the moderator is allowed to continue and perpetuated through multiple exchanges was a waste of our time.
So Tulsi was actually sitting on this set at this time last week. Yes. She was a guest on The Issue Is. Wow. Anybody moved by Tulsi? Anybody
I think
liked
she moved
her?
herself. I think that she clowned
herself.
She clowned herself. Absolutely, she set herself, especially with Mayor Pete Buttigieg. And if you ask me, she's the one who lost the debate.
Comparing yourself to Reagan and Gorbachev, saying that's why you were meeting with Assad, come on, that is
many of you said you really liked Cory Booker tonight. He had a moment that I'm sure will be played over and over again when it came to marijuana legalization and Joe Biden. Let's play that.
This week I hear him literally say that I don't think we should legalize marijuana. I thought you might have been high when you said it.
That we should study what the long-term effects are for the use of marijuana. That's all it is. The only African-American woman that ever been elected to the United States Senate. A whole range of people.
No,
my point is
that's not true. The other one is here.
I said the first African-American elected. First African-American. So my point is.
Cory Booker walked Joe Biden with that comment about being high when he said it. I mean, it was absolutely there was no other way or no better way to combat Biden about the nonsense that he spewed about criminalization, legalization, et cetera, of marijuana. Like Booker said, for the upper echelon, it's been a thing that's been okay, but for the lesser fortunate folks, it's been a taboo, you go to jail, your whole life is ruined situation. So the way that Booker is looking at it and the way that he called Biden out for it was absolutely epic and perfect.
So Biden's biggest weakness coming into this is the thought that maybe he's lost a step and he's not quite there. Did he help his cause on that?
No.
Did he hurt his cause on that?
Speaking about marijuana, the way he did definitely lost his cause or hurt his cause. And I think that Cory Booker said what we were all thinking. Because it's he didn't even have to say it. Marijuana is a non-factor right now.
I got to speak with Biden last week when he was here at the Riveter, and he's much better in a smaller forum. I think, honestly, sometimes I think he gets up there and he gets nervous, and he just loses his train of thought. But when he speaks in a smaller group, he's spot on.
Yeah,
I believe that to be the case, and it's okay at the end of the day because Joe Biden is a household name.
He is, and he also has been around for a long time. This is a point that he brought up over and over again, that he has more experience than everybody else. Let's play that.
In the United States Senate, I've passed more major legislation than everybody on this stage combined.
And maybe he has a point there. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? What do you think?
Like Pete said, there's 100 years of combined experience, and look where the Democratic Party is right now. And so I think he hit the nail on the head with that comment. And Biden is not only kind of lost a step, he's out of touch. The whole marijuana thing just shows how out of touch he is with current issues.
Yeah, but that's like saying I'm 45 years old, I'm taking more steps than a 12-year-old. Of course you have. You should have.
So we've seen you progress, Dean, over this period, because at first you were like, Biden's my guy. I'm all in on Biden.
I think I was
So raise your hand if through this process your opinion of Biden has gotten better.
No.
Raise your hand if it's gotten worse.
Neither for me.
Neither for me.
But I don't think that it hurts him.
Jeannie, get in here.
Well, I just think there's a generational problem. We can really see the age of Biden and Bernie. Sure, they have a lot of experience, but to see the young blood that's coming up, it gives you a lot more hope for the future.
But to your point, Bernie's not out of touch, though. They both may be old, but Bernie's most certainly in touch with the younger millennials and all generations, and Biden just simply doesn't want to keep up.
And Bernie did an event with Ariana Grande yesterday. So.
Oh, there you go.
Thank you, next.
Right about that.
In my defense, though, fear and electability, it's not like I was very enthusiastic about Biden.
It's okay, Gene.
All right.
It's okay.
You know, this event, of course, not happening in a vacuum. This happening on the same day of impeachment hearings, which went all day and continue to go all week. It's interesting, Rachel Maddow, I'm going to give myself a shout out, actually took a question that I had asked Elizabeth Warren a few weeks back where she broke news where I said, you're a senator, how would you vote on impeachment? Would you vote to impeach? She said yes. The rest of the people I asked said no, and sort of asked everybody else about that. It brought up the impeachment issue, so let's look at how they all responded to that.
We have to establish the principle, no one is above the law.
We have a criminal living in the White House.
He is likely the most corrupt president in the modern history of America. But we cannot simply be consumed by Donald Trump. Because if we are, you know what? We're going to lose the election.
That's right.
Precisely.
Other Deborah.
Absolutely. I thought when he said that, I thought finally, spot on. Look, he's not going to be impeached. So we're wasting all of this time.
Well, convicted.
He
probably will be impeached.
Right, but convicted, thank you.
Yeah.
It's a lot of time, a lot of years, and a lot of issues that just aren't being served. We're taking all of our time on this.
But Bernie's absolutely right. I mean, we can't keep focusing so much on Trump. We've already established it, like we've established healthcare. We have to focus more so on, after we get rid of Trump, where are we going next? Because getting rid of Trump is inevitable. That's what we want to do. It's like we want to improve healthcare. But after we do that, what are your goals? What are your plans? What are your infrastructure?
But somebody's got to get rid of Trump,
That's
right?
It's not inevitable. That's why we have this debate, you know, and that's why we're debating about who's the most viable candidate, right? It's not inevitable.
Who do you think is the best candidate to actually defeat Donald Trump?
We're still in the weeds on that
And
one. I mean, there's
can
no
only
one.
choose one.
Yeah.
There's not just one. Just yet, like she said.
Let's go around the horn. One candidate name. The best person to actually defeat Donald Trump in a general election.
The election was held today.
General election. We're talking electoral college, not popular vote, swing states. Who's the best candidate to actually beat Trump?
Biden.
That's unanimous, yeah.
You all think that Biden still, even though you don't.
Still name recognition. It's name recognition. There are
Exactly.
plenty of people that do not watch the debates, and they're going to vote for the name that they know. They associate Joe Biden with Obama.
Correct.
So he may not be winning these debates, but he's not losing them.
Well, let's talk about Mayor Pete, who a recent Iowa poll showed is in first place. There was a lot of talk going into the debate, the thought that everybody would be attacking Mayor Pete.
Right.
Didn't really happen that much, but of course the Achilles heel for Mayor Pete is his support among African Americans. Right, recent polls show he's at 0% with African Americans. He talked about the fact that he is gay and compared that experience with the black experience. Interesting way that he chose to go. Take a look.
While I do not have the experience of ever having been discriminated against because of the color of my skin, I do have the experience of sometimes feeling like a stranger in my own country.
As an African American, what did you make of that?
Well, honestly, I really appreciated the way that he answered that question. When you compare black and gay, a lot of times that can go south. But the way that he did it, it was not in terms of a comparison. It was more so of because my human rights have been on the line and that I have to literally watch the news and see my rights being discussed. I know how that feels, so I'm going to do the same for anyone else. Right. And that's what I really appreciated.
Tyree.
Spot on basically what Alicia said. He could not have articulated more better without disrespecting the struggles of the people of color, of African Americans. He did a very good job with articulating, like she said, I understand the struggles of being discriminated against, but I can never understand the struggles of being discriminated against from afar simply because I'm a person of color. So the way that he did it was very well. I don't know if it was planned or canned or if he was prepared for it, but what I got from Mayor Pete tonight, he was very, as he said, from the heart. He spoke very well. He was calm. He was cool. He was collected. And he seemed like he had his mind focused on the long-run end game instead of just giving out talking points.
I would bet everything in my bank account that was planned.
It came out very genuine.
Katie, you're somebody who's done a lot of work in the minority community, the Asian community, and really tried to lift up that community in a profound way politically.
Absolutely.
What did you make of that moment?
You know, I thought what I heard from him was that he wanted to do more outreach. Clearly, he has a hurdle to overcome. And so what I heard from him is he's willing to learn, he's willing to listen, and he's willing to reach out to the community, understand from their perspective what they need out of a president. And I appreciate that as a person of color as well. Hearing that from anybody on that stage is refreshing.
So raise your hand if you think more of Pete Buttigieg after tonight?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Everybody. So he
Absolutely.
improved his position with everybody.
I've
Wow.
always thought high of him.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Another interesting moment. Another person who was on our show last week, Andrew Yang, got the biggest laugh. Got the biggest laugh of the night, and this was not scripted. I can guarantee you that as well. Here's a look at Andrew Yang tonight.
If you win the 2020 election, what would you say in your first call with Russian President Vladimir Putin?
It's a fun moment. Well, first I'd say, I'm sorry I beat your guy. Or not sorry.
Not sorry.
What'd you make of Andrew
Looking
Yang?
at body language,
of him.
it looked like he had more to say
more.
than that.
I did too.
Yeah.
He was on fire tonight. I wanted more of him, especially as a new father. I was loving his family leave policies, and like he really, like, as a family guy, he stands with that. He's a very, very likable guy. He just doesn't get the time that he deserves.
Through much of the debate, and I don't know if this was the full debate, but at least 75% of it, he was getting the least amount of speaking time of any candidate up there.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah. What's up with that?
And it's weird because he's the most relatable. So you would think that we would be able to hear more from him. At least I would like to.
But if that's a name recognition again in the typical politician or whatever, people, this is still a show where they're looking for viewership and people to actually want to pay attention to what's going on. Because you have the Bidens and the Warrens and the Bernies, it's more appealing to give them more camera time so people want to tune in more, as opposed to giving someone like Yang more camera time, who may be more appealing to the average Joe and common man. It's not really the person that people are tuning in to watch. They want to hear what Warren has to say, Biden, etc.
Absolutely. People want to hear from the front runners. You know, a lot of times people will tune in maybe for the first debate. This is their first, and they'll say, wait, who? So I think it's probably smart that they keep the front runners and give them the most time.
This is why mainstream media is out of touch with their viewers, because if they were paying attention to the next generation, they would be putting more emphasis on Yang.
Exactly.
Because he's blowing up on the internet.
Blowing up.
Blowing up.
I mean,
including our recent interview with Andrew Yang, which is blowing up as well, which we encourage you to check out on YouTube or here on Facebook as well. Sort of final thoughts in terms of where we are at right now. Do you think anybody, I guess you said this, who do you think was the big loser of the debate tonight?
Tulsi
Gabbard.
Everybody thought Tulsi Gabbard.
She shut down after being attacked or after attacking.
I think she
imploded.
shut down. It wasn't shut down.
Yeah,
Maybe imploded. Sure, I'll give you that analogy as well.
I think it was a wasted opportunity because Julian Castro could have added so much to this debate, but he didn't make it. And then we saw, Tulsi's performance.
Anybody's opinion dramatically changed tonight, one
Nobody
way or
really
another?
moved the needle.
No.
I like Amy a little bit more.
We didn't talk about Amy Klobuchar.
Yeah.
For people undecided, still undecided after this?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Still undecided.
We still
I was just about to say that.
Ironically, this was a much better debate than it was last month, but now I'm even more unsure of who I like.
And maybe there's something to be said for having women moderate. It was a little bit more substantive.
Maybe so.
It really was. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that too.
Not to say, I'd be happy to moderate, but there was something nice. Any other last thoughts before we wrap up?
I do think that Kamala Harris did really well when it came to women's rights. I think she actually did the best when it came to issues when it comes to women. So I believe she'll probably raise in points when it comes to that area.
Her delivery, though, is just not, it doesn't connect.
You just don't like her delivery.
A lot of people I know, she turns them off because she appears to be very angry. Right?
Yeah.
She has this whole prosecutorial thing about her, and Ali and I were talking about this, where every time, and even Dean and I, when she makes her point, she comes across as very much so like, listen to what I'm saying the right thing, do what I want you to do. And it doesn't very seem much so like she's trying to explain to you or give you the idea what she wants to do with her position. She's almost giving you the ideology like she's hypnotizing you to get you to agree with what she's asking you for. Yeah, overly persuasive.
I actually thought she had the best debate that she's had
I
probably
did
of all.
too.
I thought she was really strong and crisp tonight.
Well, but again, she still sounds like a prosecutor.
And she did not put her hands on her hips, not once.
She did create a little bit of
She
a
raised them
meme.
up in the air and she was laughing.
That meme. You guys are fantastic. Thank you so much for your insight. I could talk to you all night, but of course we got to put together a story for our 10 o'clock o'clock news. Highlights of the conversation you just watched. Thank you all for chiming in on Facebook. I haven't been able to follow your comments, but I'll get to some of them a little bit later on tonight after the show. And we encourage you to check out our political show as well, The Issue Is, which airs Fridays at 10:30 right here on Fox 11. A thank you again to Alicia Rivers, Dean Shermay, Katie, how do we say her last name? Calvoda, got it right. Okay. Deborah Zara-Cobalt, Jeannie Harrison, and Tyree Brown. Thank you all very much. Excellent. Thank you for watching The Issue Is. Thank you for watching the debate. And most importantly, get educated and go vote. Voting begins here February 3rd, I think, is the first day that you can start voting here in California.